Well, hello, class. We're already into week 4, and I can't believe that. It's going by so quickly. Um, anyway, this particular week, we're going to be covering some pretty interesting stuff. This particular week, we're going to be getting into two areas. Topic summary number 7 or section 7, is going to be on persuasion, influence, and impression management. We'll be covering that the first half of the week. Now, let me talk a little bit about that because that has a little bit to do with politics, which I'm sure we're all caught up on right now. And I want to kind of go over some of the important points about that. Okay? When we talk about the process of social influence, we really want to get a better understanding of what we refer to as organizational politics. And I'm sure we've all had experiences with that one way or another. People in organizations attempt many different types of persuasion tactics, if you will, in order to be influential. The two main components of interpersonal influence are one, persuasion tactics, and two, sources of power. Those that are in legitimate power, they have a lot of influence politically on what happens in the organization, let's face it. But effectively applying these components to yield some type of influence involves understanding how they work on their own as well as how they may be combined to maximize someone's impact. Okay? So the choice around tactic and power combinations rests on the objectives to be achieved, the impressions that people want to manage, and the nature of the target of influence are important. So in this particular section, the first half of the week, we want to essentially explain how the tactic of reciprocity works, and we want to give some examples of that. Another thing that we're going to try to talk about is personal power. We want to know how personal power is achieved. A lot of times we talk about charisma and likability and things like that, but we also get into areas such as intelligence and trustworthiness. So, what does personal power really entail? So, what I am going to do here is at the end of the first half of the week of this section, I am going to be talking about having you do a case study, one which will be for exercise on this particular section, and the other one actually for a grade as an assignment. Okay? So that's the first half of the week. The second half of the week, we're going to be talking about another topic, which is decision making. And as you know, decision making in an organization is so important, and we talk about in this particular section the 4 approaches to decision making in organizations. They are going to be the rational, the behavioral economics, organizational psychology, and naturalistic approaches to decision making. And we're going to go into the benefits and limitations of these things. We're going to go into some of the theories as well. So the challenges in this section, the second half of the week, are going to be to list the 6 steps that describe what we refer to as the rational decision-making process. And the second thing we're going to be going into is how problem framing decision-making deviates from rational decision-making. Again, problem framing decision-making deviates from rational decision-making. So, for this particular section, we are going to do a participative class discussion for grading. So this second half of the week will also be very interesting. So we're going to be looking at politics. We're going to also be looking at decision making. Okay? Look forward to this week, and let's get going with it.